Hi and welcome. So today I wanted to share with you more about emotions and how to process them. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle and I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and emotional eating expert. And so what I want to share with you is the way that I look at emotions and how I process through them, and I help clients move through them, because I think this is something that is not well understood, and I've never really done a video where I go more into the way we process through our emotions and why we're actually doing it in this particular way. And so I just want to put a disclaimer that everyone has a different way that they can move through their emotions, and some things I might mention might work for you and some might not. But for me personally, when I was going through my emotional eating journey and I was trying to figure this out, I was going to therapy and I was doing a lot of rewiring my thoughts and cognitive behavioral therapy. I've done other modalities, and what I do with clients is, for me, the way I found the way we can shift and transform these emotional events that are under our emotional eating. And so I want to share with you how it works, because then you'll sort of see how it's going to benefit you and why it's important to be done in a particular way. So I'm going to share that when I work one-to-one with clients, it is a very fluid process. So there are key steps to it, but I move with the client and where they're going. And just depending on what comes up for them, we can go back into a further memory. They might need more time to open up to their emotions and to get in touch with their body and to feel that safety to kind of move through this emotional experience. So what I'm going to share with you is going to sort of be the overview of what happens in a session and the way I look at emotions. So emotions, when we have an emotion is a messenger in our body. And essentially what's happening is that whenever we are interacting with the world, we have an emotional response. And it's essentially just a really sped up kind of thought or belief, and our body creates biochemicals in response to that. And that's how we get those feelings of emotions. What happens is, usually in early childhood, or just from our society in general, we're not allowed to feel those emotions. So we actually need to let them process through our body, be able to sit and feel them to hear what they're trying to tell us. So if we're feeling a negative emotion, maybe we don't go towards that thing, or we're feeling a positive emotion, we want to move towards that thing more, or we're happier about it. And this is how we can navigate our life. But when we're younger, we kind of get shut down by our emotions. So our family might have used, whenever they're feeling something negative, they use food. And so we mirror that and we take that in as our modeling. Or we were ashamed for our emotions. You shouldn't feel sad, or here's a cookie when you feel sad, or something happened with our emotions that distorted it. We didn't know we could feel it. We didn't feel safe feeling it. And so we moved towards food. And so now we're trying to go backwards and unravel that sort of messaging and that process. And so what happens in a session with a client is that, because we're coming into this not necessarily feeling okay about feeling through our emotions, we need to relearn that. And we can physically relearn that in our body by resourcing our body. And that's just our body lets us know which areas feel at ease and feel comfortable. Because the areas of our body that feel tight and compressed and contracted, they're actually holding on to emotions we haven't expressed. So like I said, emotions create biochemicals in our body, but when we don't feel them and let them process through, they actually get stuck in the body. And so when they get stuck in the body, they create this pain and contraction. And so the easiest way to share that with you is, if you have stress, it's cortisol, but then you're sort of tightening your shoulders or clenching, you feel that tightness in your stomach, or you can feel a tightness in your solar plexus or your heart area. So you're just holding in these emotions there. So through the process, we resource the body. We make the body feel as good and at ease as possible. And we do this through some guided meditations and really connecting somatically, sensation-wise with the body and putting you in the best situation where you feel as good as possible. You feel at your highest, you just feel good being you. And when you feel good being you, you're usually at your most loving, most compassionate, most open. And so from this place, we actually ask into the body to show us the issue we're working on. So whatever, you had a trigger in your emotional eating, we look at that trigger and your body will actually show you through sensations the tightest area or the most contracted area in the body. And so then we go there and we actually focus in. So we use our mind to focus in. We're not asking our mind to tell us a story. We use our mind to focus into the area of the body so that it can now start telling us, when we ask a question into it and we pause, it will give us a memory or an image or a situation, and we can ask further questions. And this is not to interrogate this part. We're being with it as lovingly and compassionately as possible. We don't want to rush it because it's a very tender part that has kind of gone into hiding, and it's stuck for a reason. We can't just sometimes let it go or question it, interrogate it. Why is it still there? We need to be very open and loving and compassionate because most likely that part of us is very young. And if you think about a young child, they want to be in a loving presence. They want to have compassion. They want to know you understand them and have empathy. And so to go in and just to say, let it go, it's no big deal, as your adult perspective, that's really negating and invalidating the experience of this younger part of you. And so I see that a lot happening, and I just want to draw attention to really putting yourself in the role of a child. If you have children, having that deep compassion and empathy at their level. The thing we have to understand, and this is a side note, is that children, their brains develop differently. And even, our most logical part of our brain, our prefrontal cortex, is still growing until we're 25 years old. And the way it grows is by feeling and processing through our emotions. And so a child who is 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, they don't have that perspective as an adult would. And in order for them to switch into a more open perspective, their emotions need to be validated. They need to be empathized with, and to really see and feel validated in that experience. And so when they feel that they're seen and heard, which is what we're all craving, then it kind of feels like, I can let this emotion, I can feel this emotion I've been holding in because it wasn't safe to feel this emotion. No one saw or validated this emotion. And when we really feel and process through that emotion, sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes it's a need you need to bring in. And so this situation at this younger age is connected to your current situation. And so whatever needs to change, maybe you need more time, you need more movement, you need a different career, it will come from this place. And so once we allow that part to really process and validate it and ask it for what it needs, then we can create a new way of being in our present life. And we're doing this all in the body. It's all somatically. And so when we come out of this experience, what clients notice is their body will feel at ease because that contraction and tension you're holding, that emotion you couldn't express is holding, it now has expressed it. And so your body can relax. Your nervous system opens up and you will overall feel more at ease in your body. And you will have a better way of moving forward. And so that kind of goes into what's happening. And in this way, you are, what we would say is healing your inner child. You're healing that past experience. And of course, when I work with clients, I have different questions and different things that we do to kind of heal the past and to move forward. And we even move through limiting beliefs. But that kind of gives you an overall view of what's happening. And you will feel it in your body in that session. It is not, and you'll keep processing it. But it's almost like when clients do this, it's like magic. I had a client that had a back pain ever since she had her son like 6 years ago. And we did this process and we went into this memory that was because she was working on her emotional eating, and that was an area that came up. And we resolved it. And then she's like, I don't have that back pain anymore. And it was almost like magic, but it was really, we processed that emotion because it lives in the body. Unprocessed emotions live in the body and they become like traumas, and we need to really resolve them to resolve the trauma. So that is an overall kind of bird's eye view of what I do with clients. It is very experiential. And I thought it's time I start talking about more of the details of that, because our emotions, when we are not raised in an environment that's very conducive to letting us feel, and especially in our society, we hold those things in. Our body is a miracle because it will hold in all the things we don't process. It will hold in all our emotions, but over time, it will create pain and discomfort in those areas. At first, it's really subtle, so you don't notice it, and that's what happens in the meditation. We'll feel it, but sometimes it becomes just you feel the pain all the time, and it's just calling out to you to look at it, process, and resolve it. So I hope this makes sense. Let me know if this makes sense, if you have any questions. And of course, if this resonates with you and you're looking for a deeper way to process those emotions under your emotional eating, I invite you to book in an emotional eating assessment call to see if the emotional eating evolution program can support you. These meditations and working one-to-one with me are included in that program. And so it goes through other phases of the program that are needed to really move past emotional eating. So I would love to talk to you if this is resonating, and please like and subscribe and share with someone if you found value and it would be helpful to them. And I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.